AM 1060 WMEL. The views expressed on the following program are those of the hosts, callers, and guests, and are not necessarily those of WMEL staff, management, or advertisers.
This is Joe Steckler, folks, your host for Helping Seniors, the radio arm of Helping Seniors of Brevard, Incorporated. I'm a little hoarse today, so I'm going to try and get Kay to do more of the talking than I do, but I do have to do the lead-in, and there's some other things I want to make a point of today, and I'll be talking about that, but I want to remind everyone that the purpose of helping seniors is to educate, inform, and connect seniors and those who care for seniors to resources. Our job is to complete, not compete with others, but to complete the care equation. And I've been in the care business in Brevard County for over 25 years, and I've seen a lot of good things happen. And I've seen some hangings that have continued to exist that are not good and need to be changed. And that's one of the reasons that we started Helping Seniors, folks. Seniors need a first-rate, current, aggressive program to fight for their own rights. And it is not something that is going to be handed to us seniors unless we demand that what we think we need is at least given some credence to whether or not it's absolutely necessary or not. There is no one that's entitled to everything they think they need unless they got a doggone good reason for it. But those people that pay taxes, that have supported this country, that have fought wars for this country, at least have a right to have access to the information that will help them age with dignity. And that is one of the reasons for this show. The office number for Kay, our Helping Seniors Information Specialist, is right now is 473-7770, 473-7770. And you can always call WMEL 1060 at 241-1060 to get them to tell you our number, because all the guys here at the station know that phone number. But the sponsors for the first part of the show today include Gentiva Home Healthcare, the Eye Institute, Solid Bite Dental Implants, Bill Johnson, Elder Law Attorney, WMELM 1060, Wistoff Hospital Systems, Levin Home Care, Redden Care, a medical alert program, Atlantic Shores Rehabilitation, and Ebony News Today, and Barbara McIntyre with Rehab Mortgage.
Reverse mortgage.
Reverse mortgage, yeah, reverse mortgage. That's something, folks, that more seniors are turning to is reverse mortgages. It's just like any other real estate you sell or buy. If you're going to get into a transaction that involves your home, I highly recommend that you call someone that you can trust and it will give you good information. Just because somebody has hung a shingle out doesn't mean that they're the best in the West and they're going to help you. You need to have a better handle on what you can do to help yourself. And, Kay, don't let me forget, at some point in the show today, let's talk about the new provider network.
Yes.
Why don't you write that? You got the pen there. Why don't you write a big thing down on that piece of paper you got there that says provider so that we don't forget to talk about it, because it's important. And but
it is important because I'm getting a lot of calls now for people looking for a roofer, a plumber, a contractor, mechanic. These
handyman?
Are handyman. You got it.
Yeah.
And the purpose of bringing that up too, and if I may just inject it right now
you
here,
go
Joe.
Right now.
When I receive a call from anybody, male or female, they're looking for resources. But now, more important too, they're looking beyond what maybe our partners can provide. As I mentioned, a plumber, a roofer, etc. But here's the thing, Joe. They're afraid of just going down the yellow pages or letting their fingers do the walking because so many seniors have been taken advantage of. And that's really important. They see that, hey, there's a widow that they're walking into a home and seeing maybe she's got some nice furnishings and everything, and instead of charging $1,000 for something, that contractor may charge her $2,000.
Yeah, that's right.
So I hear stories like that all the time. So we're looking to have reputable, trustworthy businesses involved with us that we feel confident that are going to not take advantage of any senior that we refer. And hopefully, maybe along the way, we get lucky and get some volunteers, because so many of my callers are on such a limited income, Joe. So it's really important. I would say that actually the majority of the calls that I get are seniors on a very, very limited income.
Well, and that goes back to, Kay, what we're talking about. Kay and I have three sheets of paper from us, folks. It's called the Guardianship Talk. And I was invited to speak to a group of guardians over at Amici's restaurant on Tuesday of this week. And I want to tell you that when I started in this business 25 years ago, there were 3 guardians here in Brevard County. And one of those 3 guardians is now the president of that guardian organization, Kathy Rowlands. And when I started my talk yesterday Tuesday at Amici's, I complimented the guardians there. There were roughly 50 people there, men and women. And I complimented them on their professionalism and the way they conducted their meeting. See, it was a little bit different. They do what they call networking, but their networking is a little bit different the way they do it. They were sitting around the tables, and Kathy was sort of chairing the meeting, and one lady got up and was talking about a case in a nursing home where someone was trying to do something that she didn't think was right, and she described the links that she had to go through to fight the courts, the judge, the lawyers, and everything else to ensure that this patient's rights were protected. And it got to me. It got to me because I realized that I perhaps have been very, very guilty of overlooking the value of good guardians to what they can do and what they can bring to the care equation. And as a result, when I started my talk, I felt it was imperative that I compliment them on their professionalism and the way they were conducting their meeting, because it was good, folks. And I want you to know that you as the older I get and the more I get around, Kay, I find more people that are bringing a new sense of professionalism to the care business. And I'm sure that you're going to talk to that, too.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I just happened to bring a copy of what's going to be in our October Senior Scene featured newsletter.
Okay.
And as we're talking about guardianship, William Johnson wrote an article on benefits of having a professional guardian. So, this again reiterates the fact that not only are we doing the radio to try to educate the public, the TV shows, the print. So if people want to learn more about guardianship, be sure to look in the Senior Scene magazine coming up on October. And all of this information is archived on our website, helpingseniorsofbrevard.org.
Right. And you can go to the website. You can pull up, right now I know you can pull up at least 6 shows that deal with guardianships that Bill and some other people have participated in. Mm-hmm. And within probably the next 3 months, we'll have close to 300 shows archived on that website, folks. And the county commissioners gave us 15 new free airing times a week. Our special shows are on at 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday on Channel 499. Now,
and then also on Channel 49.
Channel 49, and that's it. What are those 3 times, Kay?
Okay, Monday, 7 p.m., Tuesday, 6:30 p.m., and Thursday, 7:30 p.m.
And, while we're talking about 18 TV shows, this radio show, we also have columns in Evening News Today. Mm-hmm. We're going to be starting this month in Al Dia, the Spanish paper. Mm-hmm. And we'll have a column in Spanish and English in there. Mm-hmm. We're in Senior Scene magazine, Hometown News, and Spotlight magazine.
Right.
Now, we're not trying to see how many magazines, papers, newspaper articles, and things we can be on, folks. That's not the objective. The objective is to get into these things so that we can talk about the programs that help people in Brevard County. Right. More of you need to know that there is I think there's another daycare down in Palm Bay called something like Riverview or River Station.
Yeah, I understand they're going to start taking applications in December.
Okay.
The Riverview, right?
Riverview,
in Palm Bay,
right? Yeah, there's Sarah Care down in Melbourne. There's the Brevard Alzheimer's Foundation up on Wickham Road. There's the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Center down in Micco. And then there's another place up in Titusville managed by the Alzheimer's Foundation. And there are a couple other daycares. And what we're going to do, folks, is put together a new medical network. I did this when I was the director of the Alzheimer's program years ago. We listed geriatric doctors that were friendly to senior citizens. We listed the nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and places where people could go to get the services they needed to take care of seniors. They didn't have to go through shifting through the doggone yellow pages, trying to read that yellow page fine print you can't read.
Right.
And I used to give roughly 1,000 of these packages out. It cost us $2.73 to prepare and mail those packages over at the Alzheimer's Foundation years ago, folks. But we used to give over 1,000 of those packages away free, and we used to get a lot of compliments on it. The big important thing was people found out about services. Now, by virtue of the fact that we have the column in the newspapers, the radio show, the TV shows, What Kay is one of the most significant things that you, in 1 year of being the information specialist, if you don't say the one, I'm going to tell what it is. See if you can read my mind. What's the most single important thing to women?
Single most important thing to women?
Right.
Senior women.
Senior women. What is the most important thing that you've been able to tell them how to get help?
Oh my goodness! This happens on a weekly basis. They may have been married to a veteran,
right?
And they were not even close to being aware that if their husband served 90 days in service, and out of those 90 days he served 1 day in time of war, and ladies say, "Wait a minute, my husband was in WW2. I just had a call yesterday." She said, "And I'm paying over, I won't tell you how much over, $2,000 a month for independent living." She's going through her savings like crazy because her cost of living in independent living far surpasses what she can afford. So this is a lifesaver for her.
How much of a lifesaver does it average out to?
Whoa. I want to say it's roughly, what, $1,600?
$1,400.
Or $1,400, okay.
$1,400 is the top. What we're talking about, folks, is we got, and I spoke to a group of retired employees about a month ago, and there was over 100 people there. And after the meeting, the president of the organization came and said, "Could I have a couple more of your cards, Joe?" And I said, "What do you need them for?" He said, "I got two ladies there that fall under what you were talking about, the Veterans Aid and Attendance Program." He said they're living on less than $700 a month in food stamps. Yep. And both of them had husbands that served in World War II. And so they almost with a surety, they would qualify for an additional $1,400 a month. And think of that. For somebody that's living on $700 a month in food stamps to suddenly be aware that they're eligible for $1,400 more, well, and to take it a step further. And Terry, I'm sorry, I am talking more than you want me to talk today, but Kay she can't read my mind. I can read her mind.
I just did read your mind.
Yeah, I know you did. But when I did a TV show with the fellow from the veterans. And all you vets out there, and there's I'll correct myself. There's 67,000 of us folks here in Brevard County, 67,000 veterans. I was told I was eligible for 2 additional VA pension-type benefits that I wasn't even aware of. And over the years, since I've been retired in 1988, it's probably cost me thousands of dollars that I simply didn't know about. Now, could I live without that money? Yes, I could do that. But if I got that money and wanted to contribute it to a charity, the charity would be that much better off. My point here, guys and women that are veterans, there's so much that's available to us that we just don't know.
It's not like they're broadcasting all this information. And that's what really makes Helping Seniors of Brevard unique, Joe. Because I take my job every day seriously in finding the best resources for all of the callers, and they know that when they call me, if I don't know an answer, I'm going to find out for them. I'm going to research that. But it's growing all the time. I keep uncovering another leaf with another resource. But you know what's happening lately?
What's that?
People are saying, you're the only one who calls me back.
Well, and that's something else. You know, when you do a radio show or a television show and you talk about senior issues, folks, it's very, very hard to do these things and not step on toes. And you don't really want to go out and knock another organization. But, you know, I was talking to one of the commissioners, and he said to me, he said, you know, Joe, he said, we just don't have the dollars available to do all that needs to be done. And I said, I understand that. I said, when I stepped down as director of the Alzheimer's program, we had gotten the money for the CBO, county-based operation organizations, up to $1 million.
Wow.
Since I've stepped down, it's regressed to $500,000. Wow. And they just went through their award process, and 3 of the grants went to children's programs, and out of the 10 commission priorities, not one of the priorities was for children's education, yet 3 of the grants went there. So here's the staff making a decision about what the commissioners think should be done. So, you know, we've got that problem. Then you got the problem with nonprofits. And we can always, I've been in nonprofit work, Kate, for 25 years, so
right.
I understand it pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to make money to pay people to do the work, and I have no objection to doing that. But if organizations or nonprofit organizations take the federal and state dollars and say, I'm doing outreach, and they don't have radio, don't have television, don't publicize what they're doing, to me, they're not doing outreach. So right. What I'm saying to you seniors that are listening to this program, think about some of the things that you might think we could do better. Call Kay at the office
Absolutely.
at 473-7770 and tell her what the hell you think.
Absolutely.
Kay, talk about the survey. Tell our people about the survey we've done and what are some of the results of the survey.
Oh, my goodness. You know, the survey that we sent out, we received hundreds back. And thanks to a couple volunteers, too, we took all that data and put it into a program where we could come up with a final analysis. And across the board, it's just people need, the number one, tied with another one, information. They're looking for information. So it's not just Joe talking about this, folks. It is coming back as a result of people handwriting in their comments. And they want more information. How can they get it? They're like a blindsided here. They have no idea where to turn. And so as a result, Helping Seniors of Brevard has gotten an excellent reputation. Friends are now referring them to us, and they know that, you know, they're going to get steered, shall I say, into a trustworthy resource.
And that's so important. I have a yard maintenance service, and we pay $120 a month for a yard maintenance service. Now, is that a lot or is that not much? I leave that up to you for your independent judgment. But let me tell you about what this yard service does for us. Cuts grass, cleans up, blows the edges, but he trims all the shrubbery, makes the yard look nice. Now, depending on where you live, a lot of people are required to keep their outside appearances up. You may not have somebody that's good. How do you know? By hit and miss, you'd call. Terry and I have gone through a bunch of people trying to find people that do a good job of home repairs.
So have I.
That's what we're doing. I had a doctor. Several months ago, you had a doctor call the office, and you called me and you said, Joe, I had a doctor call the office, and he wanted to know who we would recommend to put a water heater in. Remember that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And so you called me, and without reservation, I said, tell them to call Kelly Plumbing in Palm Bay. Right. And the reason I said Kelly Plumbing is because I've known the owner of Kelly Plumbing for 20 years, and Kelly Plumbing is the one to put the water heater in our home.
So he's
I know
trustworthy.
they did a great job. And trustworthy,
that's
right.
the bottom line.
And responsive.
There you go.
And yet that's one of the biggest complaints that I personally have gotten in all the years I've worked with seniors. I know that you're finding the same thing. People say, you call me back. That's important.
It is.
And I know Kay sort of knows I do this, folks, but on the weekend and at night, or if Kay's on the phone, all the phone calls come in, and they're logged on her computer at the office and my computer at home. So all you that call, if you don't think you're being checked on, you really are. You're wrong. We are checking on you. And sometimes I'll listen to some of those calls, and I'll call Kay, and I say, what did you tell that person, Kay? I do call you,
Oh,
don't
yeah,
I?
you do.
Yeah.
Because we do get calls over the weekend and evening and so forth, and I acknowledge all the calls. Yeah. I let them know that although our office is closed, I wanted to acknowledge your call. Is there anything that I need to help you with now?
Yeah.
So, and they appreciate that. They'd expect that, wow, I wasn't expecting a call back. Yeah. But we do.
Yeah.
We do.
And one of the biggest things, Kay, is if a person needs help and you repeatedly call the elderly helpline for help and you sit and you wait 30, 35, 40 minutes. And, folks, I'm not speaking out of the side of my mouth because I don't say these things unless I've checked them out myself. I have waited as long as 42 minutes.
You've done it yourself.
And then had the doggone phone dropped on me and had to start all over again. Well, what happened? See, here's what I do, is I call one of the very senior officials in the Department of Elder Affairs and I tell them what the hell happened to me. They don't like those phone calls. Mm-mm. But the lady I talked to, every time I've called her and told her, she has said, thank you, Joe, for calling me and telling me. She says, if you call me and tell me there's a problem like this going on, she says, I know it's something I need to look into.
And I'd like to pick up on that aspect on the second half here with it's coming up again in October's newsletter here, featured in Senior Scene magazine, because from a first-hand story. This is not something that was made up as far as frustration and trying to get through.
Are you talking about Sandy's article?
I am.
Okay. Yeah, we've got a lady, folks, that's going to talk about it after the break. But imagine being on a waiting list for Section 8 housing for 8 years. Imagine knowing that you're going to have an operation and you make planning for Meals on Wheels, and you're told to wait. You make a phone call, you don't get a return call, and finally they tell you to wait for 3 days before the operation. You make the phone call, and they say, oh, we've got to come out and interview you. With that, folks, I'm getting a signal. We've got to take our mid-show break, and but Kay's going to pick up and talk about that more because first-hand experience. Stay with us for the second part of the show. We'll be back. I'm Joe Steckler, founder and president of Helping Seniors of Brevard. Our mission is to provide seniors with resources and education so they may age with dignity. However, we need your help. Our first benefit auction is on October 17th at Holy Name of Jesus Catholic Church with an incredible collection of unique items. Please call our office at 321-473-7770 to learn how you may purchase tickets or find out more. That's 473-7770.
AM 1060 WMEL.
This is Joe Steckler, folks. We're back live with the second half of Helping Seniors, the radio arm of Helping Seniors of Brevard Incorporated. I remind you again, our purpose is to inform, educate, and connect seniors and those that care for seniors to resources. Our phone number is 473-7770 to reach Kay, our information specialist. And our sponsors for the second part of the show include Senior Scene Magazine, Hometown News, Spotlight Magazine, Seniors Helping Seniors, the Fountains of Melbourne, Beth Courtney of the Braswell Beth Courtney Financial Advisory Team, Canadian Meds of Melbourne, Wiedemann Malik Attorneys, Vitas Hospice, and Peaceful Beach Mediation. As an attorney, Brooke Goldfarb, and Brooke does, believe it or not, she's a Harvard lawyer that tries to help seniors realize that there are better ways to solve problems other than divorce. She tries to get people to enter into mediation, which is a smart thing. Yeah. Very smart. So, right before I came on the air, John played a promotional that we have about our first big fundraiser for helping seniors. I'd like to pick up just a couple things on that because I think it's important before Kay and I get into the second part of the show. A gentleman in town, Scott Glover, was very, very generous the other night. He gave me 5 Coccaro paintings. Pascal Coccaro was a noted painter, painted in San Francisco, Tokyo, and Europe, Spain mostly, but extremely good. And he actually does some sketches for us at 88 years old when he was well into Alzheimer's. And you see in his works at 88 where he tried to look back into what he did 50 years earlier, and you can see him capturing some of it, not the same way, because they wouldn't let him have oils anymore. He'd painted so much they restricted him to watercolors and like a crayon type thing. But we got a bunch of his work, but it's a couple of interesting things. One of them is a football helmet signed by Marcus Allen. Marcus Allen played for the Oakland Raiders and then the Kansas City Chiefs, and member of the Football Hall of Fame. Got a signed football helmet from him, got one from a Buck, and I can't remember the name of the guy, but he got killed in a car accident. I have his helmet, but we have something really unique in it. We have a poster signed by Chichi Rodriguez, a golfer that was beloved by everyone that's known to professional golf. And we also have 100 years of Grand Slam tennis players, 10 players. There are pictures in a poster, and each one of them has signed his picture. I talked to somebody that's very, very into tennis collectible items, and they said they'd never heard of that. So these are just some of the things that we're going to offer, and we're working real hard now to put our Oriental Rug Gallery, our live auction gallery, and our silent auction gallery on the Internet. I hope within a week to 10 days to have them on our Internet, helping seniors at Brevard.org, so you can take a look and see what we got. Artwork, arrowheads that are 10,000 years old. We've got stuff that you just can't imagine. Collect quick.
Well, the other thing, too, if anybody would like to purchase tickets, call the office, 473-7770. They are for sale for $25 or $5 for $100. But, Joe, just buying a ticket to this is going to be worth it in itself because of the fact there's going to be food and drinks and so forth. And having a chance to bid on the unique items that you've accumulated. I mean, I don't know where you can go for $25 to get all that.
Well, I do too. And another important thing is that so many local businesses are coming forth to help us. Petty's is donating a basket. The Downtown Produce a basket, and I'm putting my life at stake here by mentioning some of the people. Next week I'll have to get a big list and recall everybody, but I can't get all the top of my head. But the important thing is that it's a community thing,
right?
And we want to have fun. Now, we're going to have wine along with the several food stations, and that's all included in the price ticket. I want to tell you, you're not going to get a $100 bottle of wine, but you're going to get a decent wine that I drink, and I happen to like it. So right now, one of the wines we're looking at is Falorni, and they're good wines. We'll have a Cab, we'll have a Merlot, we'll have probably have a Chardonnay and probably a Pinot Grigio. We'll try to stick with 4. And there are some people that just like to drink that sweet stuff, so we'll probably have some blush wines, but not your real pros. We'll have the Cabernet for your real pros.
There you go. But again, if anybody would like to purchase a ticket, we have them available at the office. We could probably, get them to you. Just call the office, 473-7770.
Yeah, the important thing too is it's a fundraiser, folks, and all the money goes into helping people. That's how we produce the radio shows, the TV shows. I take no money. I pay Kay. That's her job. But we got a couple other people who get paid. But our overhead is so low, it's not funny. And we're going to keep it low because the purpose of the organization is for information and education. And we do that through Kay being the information specialist and connecting people to the sources that they need. Kerry Fink, who is the president of TYG Media, he produces our TV shows. He's helping me tremendously right now. We filed a protest with the county commissioners on the award of the community-based operation funding because we don't think it was done right. In fact, we don't think it was done right. We know it wasn't done right. They changed the process after the grant was submitted, and by any stint of the imagination, that's not right. So, seniors, what I want you to know is that you have some people in this advocacy committees we put together that are fighting hard to protect your rights. fighting hard to protect our rights. I'm a senior, too. So, I feel strongly about this, Kay. I feel extremely strongly about it.
I do, too. And I think about just, with our grassroots organization, we just finished, 13 months here as having an office. But making such positive impact. People know about us in Brevard County.
Yeah, they really do. And I think that's important. Just in the first year of operations, right now, you're probably close to over the 600 mark.
That's right.
In individual case management cases.
But out of the 600 callers that have actually called the office, I have talked to a big percentage of these people numbers of times. So let's multiply that many, many times over.
Well, I think we need to make a little clearer. Kay says callers, 600 callers. 600 cases of callers that she has given help to, folks. That's different.
Correct.
You've had thousands of calls.
Oh, yes.
But you've logged 600 of them, and she logs them by name, age, address, and financial income, so that we're not going to report your income, folks, but it gives us a talking point for when we go to apply for funds to the county for community development block grant funds, or we get into the there's nothing that says a new organization can't go after what we call Title III money. Currently, all the Title III money in Brevard County, close to $1.7 million, goes to one organization, and that needs to be looked into, because I think that what we call outreach, which is a major part of all the Title III monies, the federal government pays organizations to advertise and pays organizations to make sure that the word gets out on their services. Mm-hmm. And if these organizations don't participate in radio, television, newspaper work, column work, advertising, how in the thunder do people know about programs like the VA aid and Pendus? They just don't know about it.
They don't. And I wanted to make a point, too, because when I speak to somebody that's calling the office, and the reason I ask them, I ask them this way, quite frankly, Joe. I said, whatever their name may be, because I call them by their first name. I said, may I ask you, are you on a limited income? And, of course, they say, yes, I am. And I said, you don't have to be exact. Give me an idea approximately what your income is a month. And when I find out, I say, excuse me, ma'am, have you thought about applying for food stamps? Because based on your income, it sure sounds like you could be, eligible for that. Well, no, I didn't know I could do that. So again, I ask these questions. I develop a relationship with the people calling in order for me to help suggest additional resources for them other than what they initially even called in for. Yeah. And so they're so thankful that, because again, it's a matter of I did not know about it.
I'll relate it to something my wife said to me a long time ago. Somebody called the house, and I started asking them some very personal questions. And after the call was over, Terry said to me, she said, Joe, how do you get away with answering all those very personal questions? I said, Terry, if I don't know the depth of the problem, I don't know what to recommend them for.
There you go.
She said, but they talk to you. Yeah. I said, people, if they believe a person is trying to help them and not trying to proselytize church information or trying to find out what your income is for other than trying to help you,
that's the key.
They'll talk to you.
They will.
And that's why people talk to you, Kay.
Absolutely. And sometimes it can be a rather lengthy call.
Yeah.
And sometimes, too, I have to admit, there's a lot of lonely seniors in our community. And sometimes because they've got their family live in another state, they just want somebody to talk to. So now I've got a volunteer we're getting all this database here together that will actually call and just do a well check on them.
So what you're going to do is have a program set up. Your work, is it Carol work you to do that?
No, I've got another lady who said she'd do some phone work here.
Okay, so what you're doing is putting together people who like to. I used to do that when I was the director of the Alzheimer's. I had two ladies. We got through AARP program, and they got paid a stipend of $5 an hour. I got them for 20 hours a week, had two of these ladies, and we had a call list of people that were elderly, that lived alone, and we called them on a daily basis, maybe every other day or something like that.
Just
and
to check in with them.
How's the day going? Yeah. Do you need help?
That's so important.
Yeah, it's having that human element.
Right.
And it goes back to just like this medical alert program we talk about, RenCare, which is one of our sponsors. He's got a system that if a person lives alone, they got the button system wear around their neck or on their wrist. But what's a little bit different, folks, is if this person gets a knock on the door and they don't have a peephole to look see who it is, before they open the door, they can press this button and it energizes the call center person so that they can actually push the button, key the button so that the call center person hears them as they talk to this person on the other side of the door. And if they like to open the door, the conversation is recorded. If something bad happens, heaven forbid, the call center can notify the police or the emergency response people. They also have a system where they can put all the medications in there for a month, lock it down, and if a person forgets to take their medication, and it's one of the primary things the person goes to an assisted living facility for, and pays $4,000 a month. With this whole darn program, you can get it for $69 a month. And if you don't take the medication, the call center is alerted within 15 minutes, and they call a person that has been designated to be notified so they can go over and check on the medication.
Well, interestingly enough, yesterday I received a call from a fellow, and I was talking to he called about something else totally different. And then he said, and during the conversation, he says, well, I've been a little clumsy lately. I've been falling. I said, uh-oh. I'm going to give you a number. I want you to call Rick Wren. I said, because you're lying on the floor. You live alone. How's anybody going to find you? He says, yeah, I'm kind of thinking that way. So I said, before you do anything else, I want you to call this number. So.
Okay. Commercial time. Let's see what Kay's talking about, folks, right now. If a person under the RenCare program, if you have the button, you get what I've just talked about. If you fall, it alerts the program. You can also have a GPS thing put on this thing so that if you're away from your home and you go to a store and you fall, it still will trigger the call center. It's in another city in Ohio, Dayton, Ohio.
Right, but they're all over the country get those calls in.
In addition to that, if you have the medical tray system, you get a whole ball of wax for $69 a month.
Imagine the amount of people that can save a lot of money, like you say, staying out of assisted living.
Yeah, and you can eliminate the worry. I know Terry and I used to take a lady to church, and she had a flag system that she put on the outside of her house, so her across the street neighbor knew that if there was something that had happened, if a flag was up, it meant one thing. If a flag was down, it meant something else. Well, what happened was the lady slipped in the bathtub, and she couldn't get out of the tub, so the flag system didn't change, so the people thought she was okay. And she actually spent in excess of 24 hours in a bathtub before the people across the street finally realized something was wrong, used their key, opened up, came in and found the poor lady.
You know, I've heard and worked in the senior market in a number of years, too, in retirement community, and talking to the family members and everything, they told me that my mother wasn't discovered for 4 days on the floor. Imagine that. Imagine 4 days. So it really is worth it, folks. And if you'd like more information, call the office at 473-7770, and we'll put you in touch with the right number.
You got a minute to talk about Sandy there?
I do. I wanted to just kind of tell, because on a first hand, and this is coming up in the October newsletter, featured in Senior Scene magazine. Joe, you had talked earlier about being on the phone with the elder affairs and so forth for 40 minutes and then having a line dropped. Well, this poor lady is the lady we were referring to, had waited over 8 years to get approved by Section 8 housing. Now, she's gotten a lot of bad cards dealt to her. But she is persistent, and she's very intelligent enough to try to say, I'm not going to give up. Yes, I may have a disability, and I'm not going to take advantage of the system per se. But she gave me a few words, and we came up with this article. She was just so frustrated because she had to get her foot operated. She waited a doggone year to get everything in place, one of which I helped her. She needed a ramp. Again, she's Section 8 housing. She's renting. So we go up against some bombard, there, trying to get that done. She was trying to get meals. She had called so many times. And she documented all this for me.
We know how many times she called.
Yeah. And the fact is, each time she tried to call, she talked to 6 different individuals who each asked her Social Security number, a proof of income, all of these things that, there's identity theft out there, first of all, but why 6 different people? So she ends this. She said at the end of her article here, she said, I can truly say I'm at the end of my tolerance. I believe there needs to be some type of accountability. It's not right to send seniors to nursing homes for simple conditions, meals and adaptations. I can only imagine how much money could be saved if only certain organization, everyone did their jobs. I just thank Helping Seniors of Brevard for helping me age with dignity, and invite anyone reading this, or in this case listening to this, to call them if they're looking for resources.
That's the key. The key, Kay, is for people to be aware that there is good help out there.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that we can't do a better job, and that's one of the reasons that we're going to enlarge one of our programs, folks. We decided when we founded Helping Seniors that we couldn't depend on somebody else to the grant process or something like that to pay for the program. So we said, how can we do a better job of marshaling local forces to do what we need to do? So that's one of the reasons we came up with the sponsor program. We have our sponsor objective is roughly $75,000. That people that will sponsor our radio, television, newspaper, they get columns in the newspaper. We mention them, that credits on the TV shows, and they're the ones that participate in the shows along with a lot of other people. Mm-hmm. But we realized we needed to take it a step further, and we're in the process now of opening up what we call a provider network.
Right.
But Kay mentioned earlier about the yellow pages in the phone book. Well, we want a yellow page directory that's maybe a couple of pages long, and let's say that we I talked to an established car mechanic operation that's been in business in Sunlight Beach for over 25 years, and they're extremely good. We know that they've gone out of their way to help people at Patrick Air Force Base, and they're good. And when I mentioned to the owner what we were doing, he said, how about including me in that? He said, I'd like to be part of that. We've talked to several other people, and everybody I've talked to, explained it to them, wants to be part of it. So what we're going to do is put these people together. It's a system of roofers, handymen, yardmen, electricians, AC specialists, people that will be willing to go to some classes where we can talk to them a little bit about seniors and what seniors need, have them sign an ethics statement. Hopefully we'll get them to give us seniors a discount.
Yes.
But more importantly, folks, is that if you call Kay and you ask for a service, and we're trying to do this from all the way from Mickle up to Titusville.
Yep.
And I know it can be done. It just takes time, and we had to buy time. And we've got now about a 6 or 7 month period that we do well on our fundraiser. We got a large grant coming in, and through some monies we earn ourselves, we'll be able to pay our bills, and we'll build this network.
Well, and it's a perfect opportunity for any business listening to our program today. If they want to participate in this service provider network that we're going to be putting together, give us a call at 473-7770, because already on my type of resources needed, and I'm not talking about the legal advice, transportation, etc., I'm getting a lot of requests for roofers. I'm getting a lot of requests for contractors. I mean, these are kind of rising to the top of the list now and have been over the last year. So we see the writing on the wall, and we see how important and the value of putting something like this together.
Yeah. We make light of the fact that the baby boomers are here, and there's going to be more of them booming in on us.
Very rapidly.
Yeah. The fact remains, and Kay and I are finding out, folks, that whether we want to think about it or not, for any number of reasons, many, many people reaching retirement age are not prepared nor capable of paying the bills they're going to experience in retirement.
Yes.
So we have to be smart about figuring out how we're going to handle this problem. Does it mean we write it off? No, hell, you can't do that. You can't write it off. You can't put them on public dole. You can't do that.
And Joe, I want to mention, that is a large amount of people that are calling to our office saying, I can't pay my bills this month. How can I get some help paying FPL or the other utilities? They're going to turn it off.
Well, I think if I remember correctly, when you mentioned the survey, the two emerging needs, the greatest needs, folks, where 17% of the people said we need more information, and 17% said we need help in paying our bills.
Right.
The county will help you a couple of months. Some of you have got a church that maybe will help you one or two times. But beyond that, if you don't have a family, how are you going to pay the bills?
Right.
And sadly, many of you never hear about what Kay and I are talking about.
Right.
Okay, we're getting this thing, we got to wind it down. We're just about out of time, but I want to thank all of you for listening. I want to thank you, Kay, especially for being here with me to do the show today. I hope I let you talk enough today, and I don't get tomorrow night's my poker night, so wish me well, folks. I hope I get some good hands. There's a couple of guys I like to beat at the table. Anyway, have a great weekend. We'll see you here next week. Bye-bye.